This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you're encouraged to like and share them on social media. We're changing the world one person at a time here because it's time for Rudy Howard's African American Scene, presented by Howard Insurance of Port St. Lucie. And here's your host, Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be with you here on a Wednesday night. I am very tired, though. It's getting down to the end of Medicare. The Medicare open enrollment ends next Friday, December the 7th. So if you need to do something about your Medicare or you need to talk to somebody about your Medicare, get with it because you only have till next Friday to get it done. And I'll be in Walmart at St. Lucie West tomorrow and Friday from 12 to 4. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. The president's got a negative popularity rating of 60%. He's 60% unfavorable. Wow, that's unbelievable. They said they don't think they've ever seen anybody that had a 60% unfavorable. So I don't know. But there's those of you out there that love him, and I get it. And we're going to have an open mic night.
An open mic night.
Yeah, we're going to have open mic night. So, okay, get your boxing gloves on.
Put the shielding force
Yeah.
shield on.
See, I know you guys ready to do battle. I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
I know just because you're here, they're ready, and I wouldn't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe the views are on this show are a little bit different from what they're used to locking into and walking in lockstep with every day.
Yeah.
Just a little bit different. And, well, you're encouraged to join in on the show and voice your opinion. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely, yeah. One of my conservatives, he got so pissed off at me. He said, "I don't know why they keep you on the on the air anyway. You only got 5 listeners." I go, "Okay."
Oh, little do he know, him better get some facts first.
I say, "Hey, okay," but anyway. Let's have our open mic night. And if this is the first time you've listened to me, when I do an open mic night, I throw out topics. And then I encourage you to comment on those topics.
Now, you notice he said he's putting out topics that you can comment on. So when you call and yell at him for offering a topic for you to comment on, look at yourself in the mirror for a minute and see if it doesn't look funny, because it sounds funny.
All right. Topic number 1. I think 2016 and 2018 have told us the vast majority of America does not subscribe to the conservative ideology. Ooh.
Be careful, because he's got some facts to back that up. When it comes to the big controversy between the Electoral College and the actual vote by vote, one by one, all counted. We know that what's going on out there. Everybody's saying, well, everybody's vote doesn't count. Well, the way they've got it set up, everybody's does in your state and in the Electoral College. However, when it comes to vote per state, the state has to win, and they will get so many Electoral College votes that they can win.
Yep.
That limits a lot of people, leaves a lot of people out.
Well, one of the arguments that people are going to make is that it was meant to try to create balance so that big states like California and New York could not dominate. But it is about the vast majority of people. The majority should provide the direction for the country.
Rhode Island versus Texas, population-wise. Wow.
Okay. Here's topic number 2. Mm-hmm. Would you be in favor of automatic voter registration?
Oh, by default.
Yeah. Would you be in favor of automatic voter registration? And don't tell me that they can't do it, because when I was a young man, they had selective service and they found you're behind, I don't care where you live, and sent you the notice to go down and register for the draft.
Why do you got to register to vote if they know where you are?
Yeah, so don't tell me they can't do that, because they can.
They know. They found out my cell phone number and they know my email address. I get plenty of junk mail and junk calls all the time. Still.
So would you be in favor of automatic voter registration? Number 3. Why does the middle class keep taking it on the chin? Why does the middle class keep taking it on the chin?
A lot of us don't fight back,
Yeah.
We just sit there and wait for something to happen.
Well, I got some thoughts about that.
Yeah, and I'm sure some listeners have some thoughts about that.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what you say. Why do you think the middle class keeps taking it on the chin? Okay, here's one, and this one I'm asking you to help me with this, because there's some of you within my voice range that fall into this category. Why do people vote against their own self-interest? Why do people vote against their own self-interest? I'm very interested to know why you would do that.
Can't base it on the charisma of the candidate.
Right. And then finally tonight, for my 5th topic,
all right,
the 5 kids that died in a fiery car crash at 25th and Midway Road. That was very tragic.
A local accident that happened recently.
Yes, Friday. Yeah, that last Friday. That was really, really, really tragic. And if any of you know any of those kids that died and would like to say a word or two, I'm open to you sharing a thought with us about any of those kids. I understand one of the kids was an outstanding bowler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a very, very talented bowler. And my phone number is 340-1590. That's 340-1590. So if you have comments about any of those topics, I'm ready to listen to what you have to say. Now, when I say the vast majority of America does not agree with conservative ideology, that should be pretty obvious. In 2016, when President Trump won the White House, he lost the public vote by over 3 million, 3.4 million to be precise. He lost the popular vote by 3.4 million votes. He won the presidency, and I'm not saying that he's not legitimate, but he did lose the popular vote by 3.4 million. And recently, if you look back in the last 6 cycles, the Democrats have outvoted the Republicans every time. What has allowed the Republicans to prevail was the, in some cases, voter suppression. And I happen to think, I don't know all the details, so I'm going to refrain from making too strong a comment. But from where I sit and from what I observe, what happened in Georgia was an absolute travesty. And I feel comfortable in saying that, even though I don't have all the nitty-gritty details, because he should have stepped aside when he was running for governor. He's running for governor, and he's the referee. Jesus. Does anybody else think that there's a problem with that?
It's like the fox guarding the chicken coop.
That's a problem. A person with 1 ounce of ethics would think that if I'm going to run for governor, I don't think that I should oversee the election process. You telling me there was nobody else in the state of Georgia that could have oversaw the election process but him? Ooh, that gives that a taint.
Even Rick Scott backed out of that here.
Yeah, he did.
Because he was on the committee to confirm the Florida vote.
Yeah.
But he pulled himself back out of that, and this guy in Georgia should have done the same thing, perhaps.
Yeah, and I was a little bit disappointed in Scott, the way he and many other conservatives behaved when they were starting to recount. As soon as they started the recount, they started crying foul. But they wouldn't even let it play out. And if you look at history tells you with margins like that, there was very little chance that the outcome was going to be overturned. But rather than to let it play out, immediately the cries came, fix, corruption, steal the election, and then you wonder why we have problems. Did you wonder why we have problems?
How come there's been no arrests for trying to fix? Did it not happen after all at all? Nobody tried to fix anything because nobody's been charged with anything. So nothing but just talk has gotten out.
Yeah, and that stuff is inflammatory.
Yeah.
Just like what happened with the Kavanaugh hearing.
Oh, yeah.
That's inflammatory. So now what you do, and then now somebody will say, here's what, and then here's what gets me a little agitated. Somebody will now say, okay, let's bury the hatchet and let's have peace. Okay. Now, you just did all the stuff that you did, and now you want to have peace. Just like, I talked about it last week. Mitch McConnell said, I want to work with the new incoming Congress. I wanted to punch him in the nose when he said that. He's been the most divisive, cutthroat snake in the grass for the last few years. The last few years of President Obama's presidency, and now all of a sudden now he wants to smoke the peace pipe. Yeah, okay. I don't think so.
In an effort to stay in the swamp?
Yes, right, exactly. Again, that phone number is 340-1590.
Yeah, where are these sleeper cells this evening? They're usually out there waiting for you to come on so that they can jump in on something. But we warned them at the beginning of the show. Rudy just offers topics that you can comment on, and that's all he's asking for. And if you don't call in and offer your opinion, well, he's entitled to his, right? Okay, then give us a call, 340-1590. It's that simple.
Okay, so I threw out the topic of, should we have automatic voter registration? Oh. I saw a show on that recently. I think it was, I can't remember whether it was Washington or Oregon, and I couldn't get it to come up on my cell phone. But they have a system where you automatically get your vote in the mail. Mm-hmm. So every voter gets their vote in the mail. And then there are various drop boxes all around the area where you can go drop your vote off at a drop box, or you can mail it in. They get like 80% participation in the voting process. And, surprise, it's cheaper. There's no machines.
No machines that have to be upgraded every time there's another election because the technology's moving so fast.
Right.
And then they got to fix the ones that are malfunctioning. And wow.
Exactly. So, and the guy was saying how they have saved millions of dollars using this voting process. And I was watching the expose, and I went,
how many
Lordy,
billions?
does that make a lot of sense?
How many billions did they have to spend to save a couple million?
Wee. Wow. Now, I'm interested to see. Now, my conservative friends are not going to want that. I can tell you that. Then the other question, here's another alternative when it comes to the voting. Should we have a voting holiday?
Ooh, National Get Out and Vote Day.
So when it comes time for the big vote, like the first Tuesday in November, during the main voting eras, should there be a holiday? So instead of Christopher Columbus Day, should we have a voting holiday?
Now, that would be a good holiday to cover up, and because he didn't really discover America, he kind of discovered Cuba. They were hand-rolling cigars when they pulled up on the shores there.
Well, yeah.
He got all the credit, though.
But
he got a town in Ohio named after him.
Yeah, and you know what? The person that made that suggestion, I thought to myself, wow, what a great idea, trading off Columbus Day for a voting holiday. I think that's a very fair trade.
Sure. And we can still say this was originally Columbus Day, but it's important that everybody vote.
Yeah. So think about that. So, again, that phone number is 340-1590. So, now, they had the vote in Mississippi last night, and SB did not win. Had a pretty decent showing. I had predicted he would not win. After all, it was in Mississippi. Black man running for Senate in Mississippi.
Wow.
He got close enough that it was a tribute to the maturity of the people in Mississippi.
The world has come a long way.
Yes. Because there would have been a time he would have got about 10 votes. Yeah. So, and I think he finished with like 45 or 46% of the vote.
Wow.
I think she beat him by about 8 points or something like that, So, it's come a long way, but I never expected that he was going to win. Now, here's one that why does the middle class keep paying the price? You have been telling us since Reagan the key to economic success for everybody and to uplift everybody and forget about the foolish Lyndon Baines Johnson war on poverty is to give money to the rich, and it will lift the boats of all of those down below, poor and middle class.
The catchphrase was supposed to be trickle-down economics.
Yes.
That's a phrase that was conjured up in a bathroom one morning.
It's not working.
Well, no, it all gets flushed.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And listen, I want you to look this up. I want you to write this down because I don't want you to take my word for it. There's a group out there called the Patriotic Millionaires, okay? Some of you have been listening to me a long time and have probably heard me say this before, but I want you to look this up, especially for those of you who think that trickle-down economics is the proper way to go. These millionaires feel they are not making a proper proportionate contribution to the economy.
You know, there's something that just hit me that's all over Facebook and the social media. They keep showing this illustration where you pour the water into one of the tops of these little piping systems. Some of them go to nowhere. Some of them spill out before they fill other ones. And you have to guess which box will get filled first. Have you seen those?
I think I have, yeah.
I think trickle-down economics is like that because it appears as if you might think it might go down in this one over here, the first one or the second one. They look viable, but actually it's concealed so well, you're probably going to get it wrong guessing the first 4 or 5 times. And the trickle-down economics is you're in one of those bottomless pits that have no place for the water to accumulate at the bottom. It's just a hole.
Listen, and let me tell you, I think you've probably heard me say this before. The theory of trickle-down economics sounds good. And if we hadn't tried it, I'd have to tell you, I would go, okay, I think we should give that a try.
Very logical sounding.
It is. It is very logical sounding, but doesn't work. And that's one of the things that Walt Disney's daughter, she's a patriotic millionaire.
Okay.
And she did a video And I guess I got to get a clearance with you guys to play that video if I can find it again. And she goes on to say the tax cut that she got was ridiculous. She said, I didn't need it. I'm plenty rich right now. I didn't need that tax cut. And the people that I know that got that tax cut went out and bought another yacht. Didn't trickle down. No. Didn't trickle down to the average person.
Theoretically, we're thinking, well, the guys that worked for the company that built the yachts, they did good, and then the hotels that their friends that come down to visit and ride in their yacht going to stay in that's good for the hotel workers and stuff. That's the theory of the trickle down effect. So it's supposed to work like that, but it don't.
No, because the guys, listen, Nick Hanauer, I don't know if anybody's ever read anything or seen anything by Nick Hanauer. He was the venture capitalist that put the deal together for Amazon. And I saw a video by him, which I've sent to several of my conservative friends, and he said, you have to stop telling that lie to people about trickle down. He said, it doesn't work. He said, if you give me the money, he said, I'm already rich. I already got a couple of houses. I got cars. So if you give me another $500,000, I think the example I used once before with this was, if you give me another $100,000, I'm going to probably put it in the bank or I'm going to invest it in stock. Now, if you gave $10,000 to 10 people, they're going to spend it.
Yeah.
They're going to buy cars.
Bling.
Yes, they're going to buy bling. They may use it for a down payment for a house. They may get some new furniture. They may do some upgrades to their house.
That's the difference between the wealthy and the poor, let's say that the wealthy man wins the lottery and the poor man wins the lottery. And somehow the poor man always ends up broke in a couple years, because there's something missing out of the mix that's not teaching people how to be frugal. Here's what happens. The wealthy people will get that money and they'll invest it in stuff and grow that money. And when poor folks get money, they buy stuff to have, because they can.
Yeah.
And,
But the point that he's trying to make is that when you get more money into the hands of the people that spend money, it fuels the economy. It fuels the economy more when you give them money than when you give him money.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? That's his point. The point is, if you give that instead of giving me $100,000, if you gave 10 people $10,000. That would spark the economy. And I read an article in Forbes about 3 years ago, and Forbes said that they better be careful because if they don't put money in the hands of the working class, if you make the best widget on the face of the earth, if nobody has the money to buy it, what good is it?
Right.
So Forbes was sending out a warning that you need to do something about increasing wages. But like everything else, when people scream and holler enough, you begin to see some movement. Like you saw, now Walmart is beginning to increase wages. Okay? If nobody ever screamed or yelled about it, it would never happen. And that is one of the greatest travesties that there is, in my opinion, in the free marketplace, because what they have done, and they always talk about people freeloaders. Walmart is the biggest freeloader of all because they have, in essence, made the American public pay for their employees' health insurance and benefits because they don't want to give it to them. So they get food stamps, and they get whatever other supplementary benefits that they get because they don't have a decent living wage. So, but anyway. Again, that number is 340-1590. So, why?
Well, these topics are a little hard for our audience because our audience is mostly conservative.
Yes. So, I would suggest to you that the middle class keeps getting hurt because of the priorities.
Winnie.
Okay, we have Winnie on line one. Yes, Winnie.
How you doing today, you Clif?
Okay, how are you doing?
Good, good. Just thought just change up a little bit. Good for all them. But anyway, about the 5 young people that got killed in that car accident.
Yeah.
They got burned.
Yeah.
Okay, different one doing fundraise. I want to ask the question. Where the money go to? Do it go to? They got burned up. Oh, do the money go to the families or where the? Okay, different one is gonna do fundraiser for the family or whatever. Where the money go to though? Do you know?
Well, in the case of Martin, I don't know about the other fundraising, but in the case of Martin, I think they were raising money for him at the bowling alley because he was such an excellent bowler, and they raised $5,000. I would assume what's happening is they're trying to raise money to help with the burial expenses for those kids. I'm guessing probably a lot of those kids' parents didn't have insurance on those kids, so trying to put them in the ground or give them a decent burial is probably what they're trying to raise the money for.
Did they got burned up to ashes or how they got burned?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that, Winnie, but I know from what I've read, the car exploded like a firebomb.
Right. Who is Martin? My daughter told me about they had raised money at the bowling. Who started bowling? Who started that? You say Martin. Who is that?
Martin is the kid that got burnt up. That was a top-notch bowler. I think his name is Anthony Martin. He's a top-notch bowler at St. Lucie Lanes. So they started the.
That's at Port St. Lucie, right?
Yes.
So they started that. They did that Saturday.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, different ones. The Flame doing it. They fundraiser too, and somebody else gonna do on 25th Street this weekend. So all that gonna go towards the burial.
I would think, Winnie. I would think so. I don't know for sure. I think if you called the Flame.
I'm gonna ask her.
Well, let me tell you this.
I
know Alice very, very well.
Alice Lee, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't do no shady stuff. She doesn't do shady. So if she's collecting money, it's going to go for the cause that she said that it's going to go for.
Oh, can I have a call? Can I donate $20? I'd like to know where it's going for.
Yeah, okay.
The burial or something.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be talking. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Winnie.
Well, you're an insurance man. How about the car insurance? Whether the one at fault's insurance or the vehicle, maybe the vehicle owner's insurance. Does insurance can insurance cover
yes.
an accident that has all that much carnage to it?
Yes. Okay. But here's the thing. A couple things we don't know right now. Number one, we don't know if it was if he was inebriated, the driver that struck them, because they got rear-ended.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to guess, because the kid was 21, he probably had a 10-20 policy. So what that means is the maximum amount of money available would be $20,000 divided by 5.
Wow. Yikes.
So that's like $4,000 a piece.
That doesn't help.
No.
It's not enough to bury one.
Well, I know, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
And then also
depends on where they got that policy.
Exactly. And it's going to take time to sort that out. You know, the insurance company's not going to write a check tomorrow. So then in the meantime, the kid's got to get buried. So you can understand why there's a need to try to raise some funds. But boy, let me tell you something. I know Alice Lee. She's not going to have no shady, two-handed, under-the-table deal. If she's collecting money for those kids for a funeral, she's collecting money for those kids for a funeral, period.
All right.
And that money ain't going to be used for nothing else. I can tell you that for sure.
It's wonderful that we have citizens that can step forward and do stuff like that for people.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's so sad, though. But in this case, here in Florida, we have these low limits that people have, and that's really unfortunate. So I know a lot of times when I'm doing insurance, you know, actually in Florida, all you have to get your car on the road is PIP and PD. I don't know if most people don't even know that. So there's a good possibility even that he didn't have any bodily injury.
Yeah,
so if he didn't have any bodily injury, there's no dollars for any of those kids.
Wow. Unless there was a defect in the car that would make it blow up when it got in a wreck. Now that sounds kind of suspicious.
Well, that's possible, but how long do you think it would take before that came to pass?
Yeah, it'd take a long time, the investigation. They can wait months and months and months for results.
Well, the fact that the car blew up, that probably there's probably a chance that there is an element of a claim there against the auto manufacturer, but
we'll have to get Stuart Address on your show one of these nights. We Ask a Lawyer guy Friday mornings on WPSL.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah. So this is the other one. I want to know. You know, when I talk about how the middle class takes a hit, GM is going to lay off all these people, and they just announced it the other day. And I don't know, maybe this is Pollyanna, liberal speaking, but could they have waited till after Christmas to do this? Cliff, would that how big a deal would that be?
Well, I heard a lot of, they could have waited till after the midterm elections to pull that out of the hat, but wait until after the holidays when the families are together and being happy and everything.
Yeah, could they have waited at least? I'm not even going to make them wait till after New Year's, but could they have at least waited until after Christmas?
Well, if you were to try to get time with them for something, it would take a whole lot longer than that. You'd have to wait a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to wait. The normal waiting process for anything going on, there's a period of time that takes place in order for it to be carried out.
And so that is the kind of thing that has soured Americans on many corporations, because there really is no reason why a corporation of that size could not wait until after Christmas to make that announcement. There's just no reason why not. None. I can't think of none. Are they going to go bankrupt for payrolling them for a month?
No.
So I don't know. And you know what? For my conservative friends, if you ain't rich, you're contributing to this behavior. Why couldn't they wait. I'm not even criticizing the fact that they have to have the layoffs, because as a businessman, I have sometimes had to do some very distasteful things for the people that work for me, so I understand that. But I can tell you, I would drag my butt across sandpaper before I would do that prior to Christmas. I just wouldn't do it.
5 miles of sandpaper.
Oh,
That's
boy.
not the way I originally heard that, but it'll do.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Again, that phone number is 340-1590.
Yeah, the phone's not ringing because you've got everybody in suspense. You've completely captivated our audience.
Yeah, well, let's take a little break.
Yeah, we can do that.
And if you've decided that you want to talk, have at it. I'm waiting for you. 340-1590.
Besides, you need to talk. You need to vent. You need to give us a call. 340-1590. This is the African American Scene with Rudy Howard.
Serving the entire Treasure Coast, Howard Insurance and Associates in Port St. Lucie offers a wide variety of insurance products, along with the very best customer service. Whether you're shopping for the best homeowners coverage at the most affordable value, contact Rudy Howard's team at Howard Insurance and Associates. If you need coverage for your vehicle, call Howard Insurance and Associates, 343-9878. That's 343-9878. Maybe you're planning to add a boat, motorcycle, or RV. Call Howard Insurance and Associates for your free quote at 343-9878 and get the coverage you need at a cost that will fit your budget. For home or business, auto, or recreational vehicle, choose Howard Insurance and Associates, 600 Southwest Darwin Boulevard, Suite 206, Port St. Lucie. And for your free rate quote, call them at 343-9878, 343-9878.
Hi, this is Pastor Rob Hunter along with my son Ian from Faith Congregational Church. Join us Saturday, December the 1st for our all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast with Santa to benefit the WPSL Christmas kids.
Bring along an unwrapped gift for a child ages infant to 12 years old. Enjoy breakfast from 8 to 10:30 a.m. Santa will have little gifts for the kids attending breakfast.
Additional toy or cash donations can be brought to Faith Congregational Church in Port St. Lucie on the corner of California and Savona Boulevard through November 30th. Thank you.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
We now return to the African American Scene. Once again, here's your host, Rudy Howard.
Yes. Good evening. Again. So, I guess I really didn't get anything that got you fired up tonight. But anyway, these are things that were kind of important to me. And I still want to know why people vote against their own self-interest. You know, that
I know the answer.
Okay, tell me.
We've described it as tribalism.
Aha.
Right?
Yes.
So, like, what was that 11th commandment that I think it was Ronald Reagan who quoted, "Thou shalt not ever diss another Republican," or something like that.
Yes.
And it was cute, you know, but they're marching in lockstep to it. And sometimes you see Democrats doing the same thing.
Yes.
It's something that happens on both sides that we don't understand, and we're trying to pick apart and figure out. Do you have any suggestions, folks?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think it happens as much on the Democratic side. It does happen, but not as much on the Democratic side, because we have a tendency to be more tolerant of different ideas within the party. Just take, for instance, the senator from West Virginia, whose name escapes me right now. He's awfully close to a Republican, but they've never tried to kick him out of the Democratic caucus.
So he can vote as nonpartisan, which that just shows that he can work with this guy.
Yeah, he votes oftentimes leaning toward Republican issues. But we haven't kicked him out because I think that we're pretty good. Look, we have the two independents In the Senate, both caucus with the Democrats, Angus King and Bernie Sanders. So we allow for that independence to be in the Democratic Party, and that's something that the Republicans are not very good about in terms of tolerating people who have a different point of view than what the mainstream Republicans are.
Well, I think we have a caller named John with us, Rudy.
Okay. And John, how are you, sir?
Hey, Rudy, how's it going?
Okay.
Well, I couldn't resist any longer. I had to call, and as far as people voting against their self-interest, I'm just shooting from the hip here, and I'm thinking you probably supported Gillum for governor of the state of Florida.
Yep, we're shooting from the hip. Yep.
I'm sorry?
Yes, correct.
Okay. You guys are both African American. I understand that. You feel
really?
like
No.
you better
Wait. My birth certificate doesn't say I'm African American. Neither does my driver's license. And actually,
am I talking to you, Cliff? Or
I am one.
Rudy?
No. I'm even worse. I'm Irish.
Oh my God. Well, there's no hope for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
thank you.
So wait, before you go down the path, let me tell you. Before
Well, wait, I didn't even get a chance to present my hypothesis.
Okay. All right.
And just a broad brush, this guy wants to give all of the money away that he can possibly get his hands on in a state that prides itself on being a low-tax state. And there's no way, given all of the plans he had for this state, that we can pay for those things. So what was that in your self-interest for your business to go broke because nobody's going to be able to afford a car or buy car insurance or afford a house to buy dwelling insurance? It's just I listen to what they say, and it sounds great to the 48% that aren't paying any federal income taxes. They don't care. They're taken care of by the social safety net, according to Mitt Romney, and so therefore they got no skin in the game. So they want if Florida goes bankrupt, if California goes bankrupt, where do you think the dollars to bail them out are coming from?
Do you really?
It's got to be the federal government.
Do you really think that that's how people feel?
Are you kidding me? The people that don't pay taxes, you bet I think that's how they feel.
Well, my friend, you are so wrong.
Do you know anybody who don't pay taxes?
Oh, are you kidding me?
There's people, he's right about that. There are people out there that don't pay taxes, but what you're
No. I should be careful now because I'm saying federal income taxes. There's no one that doesn't pay sales tax, and sales tax sadly that's a regressive tax because folks that don't have much money, all of their money is exposed to the state sales tax. But the guys that have plenty of money and they're not spending it all of their money isn't exposed to that. But that's so you have to make the distinction. I'm talking federal income tax. And you better believe there's a ton of people out there. Obviously, it's approaching almost half of the people.
No,
so that is a big problem.
No. It's not even approaching half. But there are people.
Where in the hell do you get off saying that? That's exactly what it is.
No, it's
48%.
Not half. It's not half.
And not long ago, you were laughing about the tape that they had when Mitt Romney said that we don't need to worry about those guys. They already have a social safety net.
No, we talked.
You remember talking about that?
The 47%. He said the 47% will never vote Republican because they want free stuff.
No, sir. He said we already have a social safety net for them.
No. He said they want free stuff. The tape, now he may have said the other thing, but the tape you're talking about said the 47% will never vote for Republicans because they want free stuff.
That is not what he said. You might
that is what he said on the tape.
Buddies probably get together and you talk about that. Like Harry Reid. Hey, I have it on good authority that Mitt Romney doesn't pay any income tax. Never produced any evidence to that effect. Just went with that. All the Republicans or the Democrats went with that, and lo and behold, a year and a half after he's out of office, someone interviews him and says, do you ever feel bad about that? And he thought about it for a long time, and then he said, well, he didn't get elected, did he? So I guess with you guys, with the Dems, it's okay.
That wasn't okay. If you want to know how I felt about that, I did not feel that was okay.
I don't remember hearing anybody saying that.
Well, I'm just telling you now from the mouth of Rudy Howard, I didn't think it was okay to accuse him of not paying income taxes if he was paying income taxes. And if he didn't know that for sure, he shouldn't have said that.
Good for you, Rudy. That's the best thing I've ever heard you say on this show.
Oh,
I'm proud of you.
Well, then you haven't listened to me. Okay. Okay. But
I'm out here cleaning my horse's stall out, and there's just as much BS coming over the airwaves as there is happening in this stall.
Okay.
Wait a minute. BS don't come from horses, does it?
No, I don't think so. Right.
A little bit of a.
Okay, John. Well, thank you for calling.
All right.
Yeah, that's. He did say.
I meant to ask him, as an African American, how does this all affect me?
I don't know. He thought you was an African American too. Yeah.
Well, I did a search on my name on Google the other day, and apparently there's places where you can start profiles for somebody if you want to. And I found a profile that I didn't make, but it said it was me. And I looked at it, Clif Desmond, African American. African American. Whoa. Hey, and I told Mr. G, our morning man, I said, gee, I'm an African American. Did you know that? Look, I showed him on Google. It's on Google. It has to be true. So maybe John saw that. I don't know. But I'm not, okay? I'm not a lot of things. But I'm not African American either. I am of Irish descent, and I don't really know if that's good or not.
Well, and let me say this. I hear John and so many others say, the Democrats want to take your money. No, we don't want to take your money. That's not what we want. What we want to do is try to create a fair and balanced approach to government. And maybe that's not important to you, but it should be important to the people that we govern. And what I'm going to say to you, and I've said this before, and I've gotten a great deal of criticism for this. One of the biggest differences between us and Europe puts a high premium on their people. So Trump is pounding on them about making greater contributions to the defense budget. And you know what? I don't have an axe to grind with that. We shouldn't be stuck with the bill to pay for all of the defense. But here's what I think we do have to learn from them. They put a higher priority on their people. Do you get that? They put a higher priority on their people. We do some really dumb behind stuff, wasting money, and then we turn around and say, we don't have money for the people. Now, I'm going to give you an example right now. And if you could figure out it's in the multi-millions, the amount of money we are spending housing refugees on the southern border with independent contractors. I will bet you, without even knowing for sure, I feel so confident in saying this, I will bet you, without knowing for sure, there's probably enough money being spent on contractors housing immigrants that could be used to help get people health care. I'm positive of it.
Well, it's cheaper to put a kid through college than to put him through the prison system.
Well, we know that. I've already proven that to people over and over again. So, but we'll spend. Listen, and I heard this last night. We are 4% of the world's population, and we have 25% of the world's prison population. Now, how in the heck can people who are 4% of the world population house 25% of the prison population? How's that?
Prison is a profitable business.
Yes. So where's all the millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars going? And then we turn around and say, well, we can't afford health care. We can't afford Medicare. We can't afford this. We can't afford that. We can afford to house immigrants, pay for camps, pay for contract services, but we can't pay for our own people. I don't know. I will never get that. We're willing to spend money all kind of ways except for when it comes to our own people, for our own people's wages, for our own people's benefits, because somehow you think everybody should be John Wayne and figure out how to do it themselves.
Within 30 minutes, by the time of the TV show is done, the conclusion always comes out.
It's so ridiculous. It's bizarre that we as a country think like that and don't think enough about our people to try to assist them. And I was talking to someone yesterday. People have no idea how hard it is to get up once you got knocked down. And, you know, if you recall, and I'm getting ready to, the show's getting ready to go off the air, but
done.
if you remember when I had the lady on from CareNet, and we talked about the lady whose husband walked out and left her and her 2 kids. They're living in a blasted tent over in Stewart, and she's going to work every day, and her kids are going to school every day from a tent.
Wow.
And because they can't get back up on their feet. Because you know what? To get back up on your feet, you need first month's, last month's, rent deposit, utility deposit. How you do that? But anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Thank you for tuning in to the African American scene. God bless and be safe, and I will see you next Wednesday right here for the African American scene.
And I know you can't wait, so don't miss out on any of the African American scene episodes that have already been broadcast over the last few years or so. Go to WPSLTV.com. That'll take you to our YouTube presence, and all of the archives of this show can be found there. Be sure to bring a notepad with you, take notes.